today I'm going to be doing my fantasy wrap-up. So I was not doing wrap-ups for a little while because I was so stressed because I was reading like 30 books a month, and I don't like watching long videos. I know that's sometimes people's jams, but I know that a lot of the time I put in a lot of effort for long videos and the majority of them aren't watched, which I totally understand because people have time and they don't always have time to watch me for a long period of time, which is totally okay. So I decided that I was going to ask Twitter how I should better do wrap-ups, and you guys voted for me to do it by genre. So going forward, when I have large reading months, that is what I'm going to be doing. So this is fantasy only, and there will be another wrap-up later on with the rest of my books. So I am going to jump in. I had a reread of a series that I really, really enjoyed, even more on the first time around, and that was The Raven Cycle. This is of Dream Thieves, and this is the second book in the series. I really enjoyed this one. It was the one that, like, I had to gruel through the first time just because the antagonist in this one, I know most people hate him, but he is just, I know he's an antagonist, but he's so friggin' frustrating and annoying and just, blah. But I really do like a lot of the other character development and a lot of things that it sets up, especially Ronan, who is a character that I really, really enjoy. And then Blue Lily, Lily Blue, I gave all of these 4 stars, but Blue Lily, Lily Blue is the third novel, and I think it is definitely my favorite in the series. I love the story and the development and how much we see more of the world in this one, and yeah. And then we have The Raven King as well, which is the last book in the series. And I know that a lot of people are disappointed in it. I was not disappointed the first time I read it. I was slightly more disappointed the second time, but I still really enjoyed it. So the reason why I like The Raven Boys so much is because of the fact that it is very character focused. It's magical realism and fantasy and all of these cool stuff mixed together and paranormal. And I really enjoy the fact that we dive into the characters and they're all intelligent and well-rounded. Their relationship is so good. There's a quote about the fact that they're like all in love with each other, and not in like even a romantic way, but like the idea of really enthralling relationships that matter, and they're very developed. The world is really cool. The humor in the writing is wonderful and just so lovely, and I adore it so much. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it is definitely me. So if you know any books that are like this, please send them my way. Next, we have The Great Hunt, and this is the second book in the Wheel of Time. So I have complicated feelings about this. I went in hoping to really, really enjoy it, and I actually read The Great Hunt in between The Raven Boys when I was rereading them, and I think that led it to part of my disappointment because the series is really good. The world building is really excellent. I really enjoyed going back into some of the realms and going back into the history of the Aes Sedai, and the girl characters are amazing, especially if we're being written in 1990, except for the fact that the writing is so dry. And the thing is, like, I like humor intermixed, and it doesn't, and I do have a fairly sense of dry humor. I don't like a lot of, like, just humor for the sake of being humor, but I really love, like, wit. And I don't know, I find it hard because I don't want to, like, read it. I like the story, but the writing itself, like, it's not writing that I, like, read and, like, get enmeshed in, and I, like, think of the way it's written. Like, I remember the story, but, like, none of the sentences in this entire book, like, stuck out to me, and that is such an aspect that I really enjoy. I don't mind simplistic writing, but I like beautiful writing. So I think I think that is my struggle in it, and it's not the story. So I'm definitely going to press on. I was going to be reading some in December, but I decided to let it rest, and I'm going to be picking it up in the new year. And then we have The Red Pyramid, and this is the first book in Kane Chronicles. I have complicated feelings about this because of the fact that I think that the writing style, again, is not my cup of tea. I don't think that Rick Riordan can write third person very well. I really love him as an author, and his 2 first-person point of view series that are The Magnus Chase and Percy Jackson are 2 of my favorite series of all time. This series, I find it hard to get through, and I've actually finished all 3 now, so the third book redeems it a little bit. But yeah, and the character development in the rest of the characters, Sadie and Carter, this is based on Egyptian mythology, and they're channelers of the gods and stuff, and it's just, they're fine. They go through growth and development, but the rest of the characters, like, very few of them, like, there's kind of the mentor characters that have a little bit more development, but that's more just relational development, which is important. But who are they as characters? They're just so, like, flat, and it drives me crazy. I'm sorry, Rick. I appreciate your world so much. Then we have The Subtle Knife, and this is the second book in His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, and I really enjoy having a strong-willed and very passionate and intelligent protagonist, and that is something that I really enjoy in fiction in general. And this is, I don't know how to describe it. It has demons and they have a lot of discussion on themes and developments, and we have another second protagonist this time, and I really enjoy him and his emotions and his depth and his questions in his life. I really think the world building is the best aspect of this, and I'm excited to see the adaptation. I'm excited to do some analysis as I am halfway through the Amber Spyglass, because Philip Pullman kind of wrote this as the antithesis to Narnia, which is one of my favorite childhood favorite books. So I'm interested in that, and I've been going into that. And then we have Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, and this is and retelling of Mulan with, instead of going off to war, it is her being a spinster or a tailor for the emperor. And the world building is really excellent in here. I really enjoy the writing as well, and it's just a lovely full story. The plot for me isn't the best aspects. I have a lot to say about this, and I'm planning on doing a review for more like further thoughts, but I think that like there's some questionable things that just make me uncomfortable. And then we also have a romance with a way too old man, and I don't care if he looks 20, he's not 20, and it's still concerning. And I think that it's also very interesting that it's divided almost into two opposite parts, where we have the first part where she's trying to become a tailor and hitting that she's a boy, and the second one she's going on a quest. And I definitely enjoyed the second part first, because the first part has just some aspects of like just tropes that are way overdone and like not realistic at all. Anyways, we have 3 stars, and this is Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the conclusion to the series of The Heir of the Folk, the Folk of the Air. I can talk. And I really, really enjoyed this. The Wicked King was definitely my favorite because of the political intrigue, but this one had a lot more softer and then also a lot more battle strategy and stuff, and I enjoyed the conclusion. I thought that it was more cute than the other two, and yeah, I loved seeing our characters who have been so strong-willed and so, like, have their defenses really break down and become more fuller versions of themselves by letting in emotion as well. And this did have a lot of psychology mixed into how they view themselves and stuff, which was very interesting. And one of my favorite aspects is the family dynamics. It does not let down. It has kind of the aftermath and beauty of that, and her relationships with her sisters is just really awesome. And I'm also planning on doing a review on here where I'll talk more about it, but I'm sometimes terrible at making use of my reviews, so who knows. Anyways, happy reading and writing, and I will see you very, very soon.